This exercise is designed for you to use dimensions, constraints, and to make sure for here it's fully constrained. And we're going to use that edit geometry, which we did for our skill check for sketching. So first we need to get this so that it looks like the picture that was given. Okay, then we need to find out how can we edit this. So we have two extrusions here. This arrow will allow you to open up that extrusion. If I hover my cursor over the sketch, you can see what is actually sketch 1. I'm going to open up extrusion 2 and hover over sketch 2. And now you can see that the slots are actually part of sketch 2, and the original drawing or the outline of the slot is in sketch 1. So I'm going to open this up and get into sketch mode. For me, I want to kind of do use my easiest constraints, which is vertical and horizontal. And I'm saying easy because I'm looking at my picture. I have some things that are vertical and horizontal. So I'm going to start with my vertical constraints. So I've made these vertical. I'm going to come back to horizontal. And let's see if we have some lines that aren't horizontal. Okay, so we have those lines that are horizontal. So just a quick glance, and so it looks like I have everything vertical and everything horizontal. So the next thing I want to do is I may not put all of the dimensions there, but I can put a lot of them there. So I'm going to start with my largest dimension, which is the overall length of this gasket. And it's going to be from this side to that side. And that dimension is 350 millimeters. The other dimension is going to be from the center of the circle to this edge. And that dimension should be 175. Okay, so I have those larger dimensions there. And then the other dimension that I want to put is I want to dimension, it's actually not this line, it's the overall width of this. And the overall width should be 120 millimeters. Okay, so I have pretty much the overall basic starting dimensions to go with. So let's make sure that this is the same on this side, because this should also be 120. So now we fix that. So now I want to come to the outer arc. And so you'll notice that it says that that radius is 95. But if you look at your sheet, there's a 2x in front that says that you should use that measurement twice. And so you're going to use it for the top and then the bottom. So let's come and give this a dimension of 95. And it should also alter this one. Yep, so they're both 95. So we're good on that one. And then for the center circle, we know that that dimension should be, sorry, that was my bad, but no worries. So I know that this dimension should be 120. So that's the overall diameter is 120. So we have the circles right, we have the width, we have the length. So we're in a good spot. Notice we haven't really touched these lines up here. And we can do that a little later. I'm looking at my drawing to make sure that I get everything right. Oh, the other dimension is this curved piece here. And so they're telling me that the radius of this arc is 25. But in front of that, it says 4x, which means that all 4 of those arcs should have the same radius of 25 millimeter. And so instead of going around and put 25, I'm going to come to my equal constraint, and I'm going to tell it that I want all of my arcs to be equal. Okay, so our arcs are equal. If our lines equal, and I don't really see a dimension for the line, the distance between these two. I don't see that just yet, but it may appear once we start and we get into the slots. So notice I did all these dimensions to the outer piece, and look at the slot is messing it up. No worries, I'm going to come in because I know that my second sketch contains my slots. So what I really want to do is if I can just kind of move these slots kind of where I want it to be. And then I'm going to put a constraint because this one is off. I want that to be horizontal. And let's see if we can move this slot up. Okay, great. So what I'm going to do is I am going to dimension one slot and try to use that dimension as much as I can on the other slot. So the first thing I know is that this construction line here has a dimension of 50. And again, when you look at your drawing, it says that it's twice. So I'm going to put a 55 millimeter dimension on here. Then I know from the center of the slot to this line here, I know that that should be 25 millimeters. Okay, so I have that. I also know that the width of this slot, should be 20. So we're getting it almost to where we want it. And then the last thing is that they actually give me a dimension from the center of this slot to the top of this line. And then that should be 60. So I have a slot here. Now I need to make this, do the same on this one. So I want a dimension from this edge to this edge. I want that to be 25. I want to make the center dimension, construction lines on both equal. So now that I've made them equal, let's see if we can make this top line and this top line equal. It will not, but we can put a dimension on these two lines. And we know that that dimension is 20 millimeters. So we have that there. And then again, we want a dimension from the center to the top, and we want that to be, I'm sorry, let me X out of that and undo. I want a dimension from the center here. We want that to be 60. So now when I look at it, it looks like, oh, okay, everything is centered. So that looks good. I've used it twice. I've used my 20 dimension twice. I've used my 50 dimension twice. I've used my 60 dimension twice. So it's almost perfect, almost perfect. So let's see if we can come back into our first sketch. See if we can come in and edit this sketch. And let's see if we can put a dimension from the center to here. Let's see if we can make that 60. Okay. Let's see what that looks like. Hey, and look at that. I have my sketch. Let's see if we can edit it. It says that it is fully constrained here. Let's come back to sketch 1. It's finished sketch 2. Let's come to sketch 1. Edit it. And it says it's fully constrained, which means our whole sketch is fully constrained, which means we accomplished our goal. So again, this just takes a little practice and really paying attention to your drawing and fine-tuning your sketch. And here we had to edit it. And so remember before I told you that sometimes you're just 2 clicks away. And for me doing the demo in class, I found out that I was only 2 clicks away. So I hope you enjoyed this video and happy sketching.